Hello there, this is Charlie. Welcome back. We are working on signature number 4 for our album. And I've got it laid out, so let's just get right to it. This beautiful piece is what I chose to use as my base page. And it has this design on the back. So this came out of the double-sided, 12 by 12 double-sided page. And once again, our base page is measuring in at 8.5 inches across by 8 3/4 in the height. We're going to make a pocket on the bottom. And this pocket is going to measure at, well, I've got it coming in at 2 3/8 by 8.5 inches across. Now, you're going to be cutting another piece of paper that's going to have this pattern on it, but don't pre-cut it, please. You'll come back and actually put this on once we cut those strips. So just get your pocket set, ready to go, and then locate this tent out of your ephemera pack because that's going to go down here. So you're going to add the pocket and then you're going to hold off on cutting this paper but get it out because you're going to need it here in a little bit. And then you're going to come back, finish up the pocket and add the tent. Now I just kind of noticed what I'd like for it to do is stand out just a little bit. So I'm going to maybe ink some of these edges just a little. And I am not going to mess with trying to take the tape off the back of mine because it's hard to get it picked off. But I have an issue with this top flag right here. When you set this in, the top flag is going to come up into the base page. I don't want the sticker to interfere with anything that gets in there, so it's just better off if I just glue this in place. So as long as you understand that, if you want to make your pocket bigger to accommodate it, or if you want to do the same thing, that'll be up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and finish mine because I have it cut. Oh, I forgot the tape. And then that way you will know what it will look like, even though I've already shown it to you. You'll know what it's going to look like when it's done. Okay, I'm going to start picking it down here. Here and here. Okay, pick a corner, any corner. Touch your corners together, line that up, follow it across. There you go. And then I'm going to glue this. Thought I had glue leakage there. Sorry about that. Did a little diversion. And we're just going to line this in here. Can I pull it? Nope, it's stuck already. Okay, and then I'm going to glue everything except this very tip. It's just easier this way. At least for me. Okay, so this is what the base page will look like when it's completed. All right, so let us move on to we can do this piece, seeing how it's a part of the base page. You have several of these large cutout cards. These are the two that I used for this piece, and I'm going to center it as best I can, and I'm going to put it right here, and then I'm going to lay this one on the top and the other one on the bottom. So for your measurements, without the decoration, this is coming in at 6, let's call it 6 1/8 by 5 5/8. I don't want you to be short on this. Go to 6 1/4 on this, because the 1/8 mark is right here. So on my die it works out perfect, but there's this extra space in here. I don't want you to come up short. I don't know what you're using. So go to 6 1/4 plus your decorative edge. So I already have mine taped. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to kind of eyeball center this. And then put it down. I'm going to go ahead and glue this one in place. And pull this up just a smidge. There we go. Turn it over, and then we're going to add this gorgeous, beautiful piece. So these will make, this side here will make for great photo mat. And then this is just a beautiful decoration. All right, so my base page right now is done. Now we're going to work on the 2 flaps that will go on first. So you've got a piece of paper that has this image on it. Cut this side first, and then you can cut this side to fit the remainder. Now I did round the corners on these flaps because I'm not adding a decorative die, but I wanted to soften the appearance. So this is measuring in at 5 1/8 across, obviously by your 8 3/4 in your height, but you're going to come in with a 1/2 inch score so that we can align this here. Now on your left side, you're going to make another one, and it's going to be at 5 1/8 as well by 8 3/4. So 5 1/8 by 8 3/4, and you have a 1/2 inch score. So I'm going to go ahead and get mine attached. And you're sneaking right up to that score line. So open this up, and then, whoops, now I've got them all mixed up. So then you're going to come in here. Now I really liked the dark pattern on this, so I cut it here at the base so I could leave this beautiful piece. And there are 2 feathers in the ephemera. And we're going to put them up here in this corner. Goodness sakes. And we're going to stagger them just a little bit. And the reason I'm putting the feathers there is on this side where this beautiful floral pattern piece is, we're going to use this tag that says courage, and in this tag is a feather. So it will drop down here so you kind of got a balance on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and put this side down. See, it's a little, I think it's under the camera a little bit better. Then I'll close it up and move it over. Okay, just slide that right in there. Now I just put a 1/4 inch tape across the bottom. I'm going to come in down here and it's going to become a tuck. And then the floral pattern continues to flow. So let's close this, and then we're going to go over here because we're going to do a little bit more work on this side. Now, the left side where all the floral was, across the top we cut off this piece here. It cut off this way. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is up here. Maybe it's a little bit more this way. But anyway, this piece came off of this side. I'm turning it around, and I am going to make a pocket down here with this piece going sideways. And then I pulled this as, I think it's an azalea. Kind of questioning myself now. And I'm going to put that right here on this side. So let's get, what are those? I grow them, and you'd think I'd remember the name of them. Oh well, it's not important. The pretty flower out of the ephemera pack. It has a clock and a couple of leaves. Maybe those are the dahlias. That's probably what that is a dahlia. Okay. Pull those off. And now I always set my corner first, and then I come in because the shortfall, I always want it on this end where the hinge is. And what I mean by shortfall is how I cut it. So now we're going to go ahead and glue this on. And I rounded the corners here. If I can easily pull the tape off, I'm going to, otherwise I will give up and just tape. I don't want this separating. Oh, it wants to separate. I'm not sure. Did I get it? sorry about this. I'm going to try one more time, and if I don't get it, I'm done. Third time's a charm. So it says 12-1, so I am going to lay it this way. And now the feathers are just too intricate to play with to try to get that off, so I'm just going to run a bit of glue and then I'm going to stagger these in up here. There still will be lots of room for putting in photos, or you could use it as a great opportunity for some hand journaling. Okay, so that's done. That's done. So we're going to close this. And then you have a 12 by 12 out of the 22 pack that has this image on it. So we're going to use it here. And what I did to get this is I had to make several cuts because I really wanted to save this. So on this side here where the gears are, I cut off not quite half an inch. It's just a hair over 3/8 of an inch off this side right here. And then across the bottom, yeah, this is off the bottom. And then I came right up to the pedestal base and I cut that off right there. So that came off of here. So right at the base of the pedestal. And then off the top, I cut this piece off. Now I did have to do a little extra trimming here to get rid of a black line, but I cut this off the top. And then my final cut came with this piece. It came off over here. So if I line up the bottom of this, you can see, let me just put them together this way. You can see how much of this up here I had to cut off. It was that black line and then just a little bit of a smidgen, and that's so that they fit these panels. Now, hold on to this piece. I love it. I'm going to use it on the last signature, I hope, somehow. All right, so these are just going to simply be glued in place. I'm not doing anything fancy with these. I think that they kind of speak for themselves. And I want to double check my trims because I might have to trim up. This one's fine. But if I line this one up, I'm too close to this edge. So I'm going to take just a little bit off. Not much. Okay, that should fit a little bit better. Yes, it does. Okay, let's get it glued in. this one in, nothing special being done with these. I'm just going to let the images stand for themselves. Now, that doesn't mean you can't put photos over them. See, I could see putting a photo right here. That way you're not covering this up or the mushrooms here at the bottom. And on this one, you know, you can still put a photo in here. You put a photo here across the base so that the arch and the floral stay lined up. So let's now move on to our outside panels. All right, left panel. Left panel is going to be 6 5/8. So 6 5/8 by 8 3/4. And then you're going to come in here and you're going to score this at a half, and you're going to score it at 5/8. We need that little hinge / gusset. Gotta cap off my glue before it dries, so that it can wrap around what we've built up here already. So I'm just gonna turn it over, and come on, the way this is laying out is that this hinge right here, 1/2 inch hinge, is dropping right in the middle of the gusset, so that this just simply wraps over. Okay, let's go get our right side piece. I'm flipping them because I'm trying to see if I already wrote my measurements down, but I don't think you can see on black anyway. Forgot to burnish that. Okay, so this side is measuring in at 6 1/2 inches across, 6 1/2 inches by 8 3/4. And then on this side, you're going to score at a half, and then you're going to score it at 5/8, and then you're going to wrap it around. And again, this hinge that we've made here should be dropping just to the inside of our hinge on the new flap, so that this just simply lays over. Okay, so now before we go any farther, we have 2 more of these flip ups that we're going to do, but I am going to add mine now, and then that way, the way I'm going to add them gets covered up by the paper. So this will kind of get centered in here like this, and then the paper that's going to go on the outside will help cover that. I could put tape. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. It's going to be a cleaner add. I'm going to put tape on the underside. Yes, I've taped the other side, but I'll be able to use it when I go to put the second section of paper on, so no big deal. Okay, so this is going to come in here. I'm going to center it as best I can. And then I'm using this one, Know Your Power. That's going to go here. And then I am using this mushroom image on the reverse side. So let's go ahead and let's get this pulled. Hope you don't mind, I'm going to turn it upside down so I can see that I'm lining it up correctly to the top of the page. I'm gonna go ahead, I did ink those. I'm gonna go ahead and get some glue put on these. To pull these up just a little bit. I made these a little longer than intended. Oh, and I didn't give you the measurements, so I can at least give you the correct measurements. I made these about 1/8 of an inch too long, and I apologize for this. But what I had trimmed here was at 6 1/4, so go to 6 1/8. Trim this piece to 6 1/8, and then it is 5 5/8 in the width. And this is the one I'm using here for the top of the flap. Great journaling spot. Care more that it's lined up to the top than it is the bottom. Boy, I made that really too big, but it will work. We can make it work. It's no big deal. Yeah, you need to cut that down by 1/8 of an inch. All right, so let's close this, and then we're gonna go to this side. Let's double check what I did here. So again, cut this down to 6 1/8 by your 5 5/8. 6 1/8 by 5 5/8. And I'm gonna once again run tape on the back side. And I am once again going to turn this upside down. So that I can center and align to the top as best I can. Okay. So the cute, adorable fox with the word wonder is going to go here on this side. And then I chose this piece here for my underside. Now, these are the large cards that I chose to use. And if you see one that you like better, absolutely change it out. It is your album after all. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this up, and then this is going to slide right in here like so. Another great journaling opportunity, or you can put in a nice little photo there. Okay, so now with these open, this is where we come into this piece of paper. So once we cut this, you'll have the trim to come in here and do this. So you're going to trim a piece for this side, and then you're going to trim a piece for your right side. So go ahead and get those done. Oops, whoops. But don't glue anything yet. Charlie's having an oopsie moment here. Okay. So it's going to be right over left. I need to get magnets put in. And what I am going to do, my magnets that I'm using on this album are a bit stronger than the basic gray, to be really honest. So I would encourage you to maybe, because by adding these flaps up here at the top, these are going to fold over, so there's that extra layer of thickness. So you might want to put 2 magnets, because we're also going to be making a pocket down here at the bottom. So you want to get the magnets, everything set, so that you can get 2 of them should work. That would be my recommendation. So I need to get mine put in. Oh, come on. I ran out of the basic gray, so I'm playing with some different ones. And they're just strong little buggers. They're hard to get separated here. And I gotta put them way far away from each other, because they will talk to each other. Okay, so I'm going to put this roughly here in the middle. And then I'm going to close this. I'm going to put this here. And I want it right over left. So right over left, make sure everything's lined up and that your gussets are flat on the end. And then you can commit the tape. And because these are not taped on the back like basic gray, I'm adding tape. But I add tape to basic grays as well. All right, now we can get to covering the insides. This one I'm going to be taping, so that's why this tape up here is no big deal, because I'm going to be taping this one in due to the magnet. So we'll go ahead and get this lined up. Oh, look at that, silly girl, but that's okay. I'm just so used to taping everything, I just taped all the way around. Now down here, we're going to make ourselves a pocket. This pocket is going to measure 8 3/4 to the bottom of my die, 8 3/4 by 5 3/4, and you will start with laying it in the right-hand corner again, so that any shortage in measurement should fall in front of the score line that you have right here. And then this is out of the scrap. It's a piece of the base page. And then from the ephemera pack, we're going to play with the hat. Now, the hat's going to come up into the page, so I am just going to glue this from my fingers down. I'm just going to kind of hold it right there, and I'm just going to glue this. There we go. So that page is now done. Let's go over here on this side and let's do this one, except I can glue this side because there's no magnet involved. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to make ourselves a nice little pocket. This pocket is 1 3/4 base of the die to the bottom and 6 1/4 across. And again, we're going to start here in the left-hand corner, line it up so that this should fall. Now see, I need to trim it because there is, it's writing, I'm going to do it upside down. It's writing right on the hinge, and I don't want it to do that. So start it in this corner, come across, and we're good this time. So line it up over here, come across the bottom, there we go. So I took that off, that's probably now about 6 1/8. So just do your measurement, be really careful that you, if you're using a decorative die, wherever the base of your die is, come over to just in front of your hinge, and that will be the measurement for your width. I want to look at something. Okay, so I got this going the right way. This is a pattern piece, and I want to make sure I had the patterns matching. And then from the ephemera, we're going to use this beautiful piece. I'm going to sit here, put it in about an angle, and again, I've got some that's extending up in there, so I'm going to glue just below the humps in the heart. I pinch it where I want the glue to stop. And I glue below my pinch. Okay. So this is what you have on the inside. And then we have this one. Okay, so now we're going to go right over left. So what you have is this piece right here. You're going to cut this so that you're just in front of these trees so that it sits right here. And then the only thing I did on this piece is I came in here with my Wink Estella and I colored the pink on the trees and then these white flowers to give this piece here a little bit of splash. And then on this side, I did the same thing. I used a little bit of Wink Estella on the white flowers. This, you've got a gate right here. We're going to use this gate, and we're going to just drop it in right there. Now, we have a choice we can make here. We can put this on just the way that it is, and we're done, leaving you a photo or a journal. Or we can back this onto some cardstock, trimming around it, because you've got the sticky back here, and then we could tape across the bottom and make this as a tuck. So if you are so inclined to do that, then you're going to come in here and you're going to take this tape off, and then you're going to quickly cut around. And if I can do that, that's what I'm going to do. I was having reservations as to what to do, but now that I've talked it through, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. So bear with me. It really doesn't take that long to trim these out. You just follow it, leave yourself about 1/16 of an inch, thereabouts. Doesn't need to be perfect. Fussy cutting is not a perfect system, I tell you. I've hidden a lot of bad fussy cutting in my crafting years. So I'm just going to angle right there, and then I'm going to just try and follow that as best I can. Come around here. Get into these tight little holes. You absolutely cannot be perfect. But I'm not allowing myself a lot of time or patience right at the moment because I'm in the middle of a video. If I had actually committed to this, I would have had this all done. And I'm not cutting every little crevice and hole. It's not necessary. I rarely do unless they're big enough to warrant it. Okay, so this is going to go down here. It adds a little bit of striking color. We're going to tape across the bottom, and now we have a tuck. So this has got a magnet behind it. I'm going to go ahead and tape this on. Let's pull this down here, and then we're going to just carefully line this up. I'll commit this tape on the magnet to holding it in place. Just have some excess down here. Wanted to get it rolled under. Boy, I've got excess up here too. What in the world? I was just a sloppy tape layer. All right, so let's get a little bit of tape added to the base of this. Now, however you choose to do this, it'll be perfect. You may choose to not use this. You may choose to just put the whole piece down and not create a tuck. That is entirely up to you. So now we're going to turn this over, and then we have this piece, our final piece. It's easy. And we're just going to glue it on. There's nothing special being done. All right, we're going to get the big tape out and get this taped on the back, but let's take a look here. So we've got this beautiful front, and then we have the gate. You've got a tuck here, and then you have two upper flaps. You've got a couple of pockets here, and you can put a photo here. You can run a photo here across the bottom. Then you've got journaling or photos. You've got a tuck, you have a pocket, and you've got another flip up. There you have it. Right over left. Okay, get the big tape. Okay. And then some 3/8 in the center for support. So this is going to come and sit in here like this. And I am going to go ahead and pull the spine piece of tape. And then these two. I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to come right to the end of the page, lay this down, and then I'll commit the tape. There's a bit of a bow in this because of the bulk of the signature that's on the other side. So I want to burnish this. And then these two, oh, see, I was too rough. I wasn't careful. All right, let's take the rest of the tape off, paper off the tape. Come on. Let's open this up and let's get it burnished. firm hand on the burnish. We want that tape down there. We want the air pockets all out of it. Okie dokie. We are done. So there you have it. All right, so we've got another one done. We have one to go and we'll be finished. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye.